Commissioner, welcome back to the program. Thanks for stopping and taking our call real quick here. The last time we had you on the program here, you said that Texas was running out of water, but a lot has changed over the last few weeks since that last interview. Give me an idea of the significance of these two big developments.
Well, when Mexico is in arrears on their treaty, they're going to be short almost a million acre feet. They're not going to be able to pay it, but they do have extra water, but they don't get to count it against their water debt. It comes from the San Jose River Basin, and it flows into the Rio Grande. But the problem is, it's below Falcon Dam, it's below Amistad Dam, so it just runs right out into the Gulf. So they have got two lakes on that watershed. One's at 112%, and the other one's at 128% capacity. So they have to release some water. So they were going to release it. We weren't going to count it against their water debt, and it was just going to run right out in the Gulf. So I made a decision to issue an executive order and declare that the farmers along the Rio Grande, that stretch where that water's running out in the Gulf, I'm giving them, through my executive powers, permission to use that water. So instead of just letting it run by, those farmers are out of water too. So it just makes no sense to waste that water. So when that hit, it got everybody talking, which is good. The Mexico started talking, the TCEQ started talking, the National Water Board. So now we're getting, so they finally come to an agreement. We're going to let them count that water towards their water debt. The farmers will be able to use that water. So it looks like things are good. And we need to stay on good terms with Mexico. They're our number one trading partner. So we need to try to make them happy.
Mexico has this water debt to Texas and to the U.S. here. Is it ever going to get caught up, though, on what it owes, the 1.3 million acre feet by next year?
I don't think there's any way possible they can do that. It's just not going to happen. Number one, they don't have the water to pay the debt. If they did, I don't know that you can release that much water in that short amount of time. So this is really a good neighbor policy, allowing them to count some water that they wouldn't normally get to count against that debt. We can use it. The cities can't use it, but we can irrigate with it. So we can use it for that and give them a little credit and have a little goodwill towards our neighbor to the south. So and I think they're going to allow us to use some of their water in Lake Amistad, and allow us to use some of their water in Lake Falcon. So that'll really help. That'll help our municipalities too. So this is going to be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I want to ask about that next year. What's the significance of this water debt that Mexico is paying back to Texas?
Well, Falcon is at 12%, and Amistad is at like 26%. So they're basically out of water. If we don't get any rain, any more water in that the Rio Grande Channel, those cities are going to be out of water next year. They just don't have enough to get them through. So this is really significant. It's going to help, really help.
Your colleague in the Land Department, Commissioner Buckingham, too, she redrew the Texas-Oklahoma border under the lake up north. When you look at that, when you compare what you did down south, is all this just a bandage, or is this moving the state in the right direction?
Well, I think it does both. It may be a bandage, but we have to stop the bleeding on the wound, or we'll be seeing the mortician. We don't want to die as a state. So it may be short-lived, but it gets us to fight another day and to solve the problem. So we live another day. We hope we get some rain and runoff, and we can solve this problem. But it definitely helps. It's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of cities up and down the Rio Grande River. Farmers are going to be in a lot better shape than they were going into fall and spring planting.
And how long will this last, this water that Mexico is paying back to Texas?
It's the water in the San Jose is about 125,000 acre feet. They owe us 1 million acre feet. So it's 10% less, 15% of what they owe us. But the water they kind of hadn't settled on an exact amount, but they're going to let us have some of their water that's in Amistad and Falcon. So that's a really big deal. So if they can pay half their water debt, it'd probably make us happy. We'd love to see half of it. Well, that'll let us fight another day.
And which cities in South Texas along the Rio Grande are in jeopardy if all this isn't paid back?
Well, you can go from Del Rio to Laredo all the way down through the Rio Grande Valley. I mean, that whole there's really no groundwater down there, not any reliable groundwater. So that's the problem. All they are all dependent on surface water.
The water issue between Mexico and Texas has been long simmering between both of us here. Why was now the time to get this done? Well, I mean, it could have been done 10 years ago, could have been done 10 minutes ago.
Well, we really haven't had much problem. They've made good on all their water debts. The problem came when we didn't protest them building dams on their rivers and tributaries that flow into the Rio Grande. So they stopped the flow coming in, and we're a little bit at fault because we didn't protest that and stop them from doing that. Had those rivers be open with no dams, Lake Amistad and Falcon would be full right now. We wouldn't be having this problem, but they dammed them up. Now their farmers want to use that water. There's developments around those lakes that were never there. There's farming around those lakes that were never there. So that's caused the problem. That's the root of the problem right there.
What kind of reaction did you get after your last interview with us when you said Texas is drying up, it badly needs the water? What was the feedback you got? Because that quote and that story went all over the place.
You know, we got a tremendous feedback on that. People would call me. I'd do more. I probably did 100 more interviews after that, and people said, finally, somebody is talking about water in our state because we're in a crisis situation, and finally, some statewide official recognizes that, and maybe we can get something done. And the legislature now realizes it. They're starting to, draft bills and file bills to address this problem. Charles Perry in the Senate is on top of this. It's one of his top priorities this session. So maybe we'll make some headway this time.
And not to overstate or understate, but give us an idea of just how critical the situation is, even with these two latest developments in North Texas and in South Texas. How critical is it still for Texas?
Well, we've lost our sugarcane industry. The last sugarcane processing plant is closed. We lost 500 jobs. The whole industry is gone. We bulldozed out 6,000 acres of citrus in the valley. No water. We couldn't keep the trees alive. That's where our winter garden is, where we grow winter vegetables. They had enough water to plant one crop. They usually grow 4, 5, or 6 crops. So, our vegetable production is going to be off 80, 90%. Those farmers can't stay in business doing that. I mean, if we hadn't got this extra water from Mexico, a lot more of them would have went out of business, and it would have been all over. For the first time last year, we had an agriculture trade deficit. We ended up buying more agriculture and food products than we exported. So that's how serious it is. This is really, really serious problem.
A couple last quick questions for you, Commissioner. What are you hoping the legislature does to address this in January?
Well, we're going to have to, it's going to take a kind of a shotgun approach. We're going to have to do a multitude of things. There is no one simple fix. First thing we've got to do is address our infrastructure. We've got old infrastructure. Some of our cities still have cast iron water lines, galvanized water lines. We've got to get those where they don't lose 30% of the water. So the infrastructure is going to be a big deal. We've got to look at doing a desal plants. We've got to start looking at doing rainwater harvesting. We've got to build off-channel storage when we do have high rainfall events, that we can store some water that's running down those rivers. We need to look at building some more lakes. We do have 2 new lakes in Texas coming online, so that's going to help. What Don Buckingham did up on Lake Texoma, that's going to help serve about a whole lot more of North Texas. So a lot of things we can do. We've got the oil field industry starting to get away from fresh water for fracking, starting using brackish water. So it's like I said, it's a multi-pronged approach, but if we do all of those, we should be just fine.
It sounds like more priorities than money, though, probably. I mean, these are expensive propositions.
Well, it is, but they have there's a return on the investment. You get that back. I mean, if you use water, you're going to have to pay for it. So it's not like a grant that you never see again. It's not a welfare program. It's an investment with a return on the investment. So yeah, it'll be a little hardship for a while, but all that money it'll be kind of like an evergreen fund. And we actually have $6 billion at the Texas Water Development Board to do just that. So the money's there already.
Before I let you go and get back on the road here, Commissioner, all the news over the past few days has been about President Trump's picks for his new cabinet and his administration. Most recent one is Matt Gaetz, a representative from Florida for Attorney General. What's your reaction to that?
I know Matt. I like Matt. I think that's a very bold pick. He would certainly shake things up, and I think some of the picks that I'm seeing from Donald Trump, he's putting people in there that will shake things up. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, those are really good picks. I think he's going to have some more people that will shake things up. Matt's going to have a little bit of an uphill battle to get through Senate confirmation, but I'm hopeful that he will do that.
Well, that was my next question. Do you think the Senate would confirm Representative Gaetz?
Well, we'll see. If it'll be interesting to see how many Republican senators too. It'll be
take two. That's okay. You can do it again.
That was a Freudian slip, I think, right there.
Right. That's all right. But you think that he can get confirmed by the Senate?
It'll be interesting to see how many Republican senators are bold enough to go against Trump's chosen Attorney General. So that will make for some interesting watching.
You're Trump's man in Texas. Have you spoken to the Trump transition team about a possible position in the new administration?
I've talked a lot to the transition team. I've never talked about me being in the part of the administration, but I have been working diligently for about 6 or 8 weeks, vetting people and recommending people to fill out the Senate approved appointments at the USDA. So, I'll continue to work on that.
Could he offer you a position to leave Texas?
I guess he could. I mean, there's nothing stopping him from it. But that decision has not been made.
Commissioner, we appreciate the time as always, sir. Be safe on the road.
Thank you. God bless.